Alright guys, welcome to the video. In this one we're going to be talking about the big three expenses that are holding you back. Now this is a concept that is talked about a fair amount in the financial independence community, but I thought I would offer my 2 cents and then go through a few different techniques that you can use to reduce them. Now there are hundreds of things that we all spend our money on, but for most of us there are 3 major categories that seem to make our money magically disappear, and these are food, transport and housing. So let's take a look first at food. Now we all like to eat out from time to time, but the fact of the matter is that eating out too much can get very expensive very quickly. So maybe you have a partner who likes to cook, which that's great. Maybe you like to cook, that's great as well. But maybe you don't have anyone to cook for you and you don't like cooking, or you're very busy and don't have time to cook, and for the sake of convenience you're getting that coffee on the go in the morning, you're picking up takeaway when you're coming home from work at night, and this all starts to add up pretty quickly. So the thing to remember is that convenience is great, but convenience also comes at a cost, and the cost of that is basically that you have to work harder and work longer to pay for this stuff than you otherwise would have to. It's actually very simple to reduce your food bill, and all it really comes down to is stop eating out so much and cook more at home. All right guys, so let's bust out some real numbers. What we've got here, I've gone onto the Marcus Today website and I've pulled out the average annual return on the All Ordinaries Index for the last 20 years, and that is 7.41%. I'll put up a screenshot here. Actually, the average annual return over the last 30 years is 9.05%. But for the sake of this example, we're going to go with that lower rate, the 7.41 on the 20-year, just to give you a more conservative view of what really is possible. Now, just by the simple act of making your lunch every day before you go to work, so you know, you might be bringing a sandwich or some fruit or whatever, instead of going out and spending $10 on lunch every day at work, let's say. So $10 saved every day. Over 5 days, that's $50 a week. Over a 52 week, let's say you're working, okay, so you haven't had any annual leave this year, so 52 weeks, we got $2,600 per annum. And if you invest $2,600 per annum over 20 years in the All Ordinaries at 7.41%, that's going to give you about $120,000. So it adds up very quickly. Now moving on to, say you're taking 3 nights a week, you're getting takeaway dinner because you're working back late and you're coming home and you just don't have the energy to cook, so you're getting your takeaway 3 times a week. Let's say you're spending $20 each time and you're going to cut it down to 1 night a week. It's going to be a Friday night treat now. So $40 a week. If you add that on to taking your lunch in every day, the $50 a week there, so we've got $90 a week savings now. That adds up to $46.80 per annum, and over 20 years invested in the All Ordinaries at 7.41%, that comes to about $216,000. So already you're on your way. Now taking this a little bit further, there are other ways you can save on your food. So you can buy in bulk. So when you go to the supermarket, instead of buying like a small package of rice, you can buy, I don't know, a 20 kilo packet of rice that's going to probably last you 6 months or something or more, but you'll get it a lot cheaper. So you can do that. You can also buy what's on special. Instead of just going for the name brand or the first thing that catches your eye, have a look at the price. They've usually got a sort of a price per kilo or a price per 100 grams or something on the price ticket in the supermarket, so you can work out what the cheapest one is. Normally, you know, most supermarkets have a home brand that you can take, and it's pretty much similar to what you'd buy as a brand name, but for a lot cheaper. So have a look around and see, compare the prices of different products and get the cheapest one. Why not? You can also cook in bulk. So instead of having to cook every night, one thing is, you know, you're wasting your energy every night, but also when you're cooking, you know, in small portions, it costs more because you have to get lots of little different ingredients and so forth for different meals. But if you can cook up, say, a big batch of spaghetti bolognese on the weekend, devote a couple hours on your Sunday to doing this, you know, you can just get bulk ingredients, throw it all in, cook up a big batch, and then you can freeze it for future dinners. You can freeze it to take to work for lunches to heat up in the microwave. There's many things you can do with that. So you're saving time and you're saving money by cooking in bulk. Moving on here, another thing you can do is to adopt a zero food waste policy. Now, I believe roughly about 1/3 of all food that is farmed in the world ends up going to landfill. So it's either thrown out from our kitchens or thrown out at restaurants, it doesn't get used, or you know, people have left it on their plate and then it goes in the bin. So that is quite a lot of food that is going to waste. Not only is it bad for the environment, but if you can adopt a zero waste policy, so instead of throwing out your leftovers, just get a bit creative and start throwing things together, use things up. You'll be surprised by what you can make of a meal by using what is in your pantry. So you're going to save a lot of money doing this. You're not going to waste and harm the environment. You're also going to pick up a few ideas of what sort of ingredients go with others as you go when you're trying to use up what's left over in the pantry. So for instance, if you got some rice or some pasta left over, don't throw it out. Throw in a can of tuna, some veggies, whatever's left over in the fridge, bit of soy sauce, Bob's your uncle. And then of course you got the humble veggie patch. Why not use the space you've got out the back to start growing some veggies? You know, you can grow some tomatoes, chilies, cucumbers, whatever it might be. Get some fruit trees going. If you haven't got a lot of space, if you've only got a balcony, you can have a little herb garden, grow some parsley, some oregano. You don't need much to get started. Now, it's hard to avoid the need for transport, especially if you're commuting into work, you need a way to get there. So what you can do, why not leave the car at home? The car costs a lot of money to run. So leave the car at home, get the train, the tram, the bus, whatever into work. Then you can read a book, you can get your podcast going, you can whip out your laptop and work and make it productive if you want. It's not like in the car, which is often dead time in the car, and you're not getting paid for it either. So get the train into work, or if you're not near a train station, drive to the train station or park and ride centre, drive to the bus stop, find somewhere to park your car, then get on the bus, the train, whatever, and commute into the city from there. You're going to save a lot of money. Now, if you're not too far from work, forget the train, forget public transport, forget your car, leave all that out, and why not ride your bike? It's great for the environment, it's great for your physical fitness, your mental health, and the bonus is, it's even better for your hip pocket. Take a change of clothes so that you can, you know, change into your work clothes when you get to work. Maybe they have showers there, even better. Or if not, get an electric bike, so that way you're not going to get sweaty at all. And if public transport and riding your bike really aren't for you at all, or you just don't have that option, then maybe you can carpool with someone else. If you're, say, 2 or 3 people sharing the car, or you drive one week, your colleague drives the other week, you're going to halve your expenses straight away. Now, looking at some numbers here, say you're swapping out your car for public transport, or you're swapping out your car on a smaller commute to riding your bike, and let's just say you're saving $40 a week. So that adds up to $2,080 per annum, or about $96,000 over a year if invested in the All Ordinaries. And the last of the main 3 big offenders is, of course, housing. So there's a few ways you can reduce this if you're prepared to get creative. So what you can do, you can, instead of renting a whole house to yourself, you can share your house with others, or you can do house hacking. I made a video about house hacking and share houses and how you can use that to get ahead in your savings. I'll put a card up the top, so check that out. Another thing you can do is you can Airbnb out of one of your spare rooms and make probably a couple $100 doing that. You can probably reduce a good portion of your rent, if not to nil, doing that. For the more adventurous, you can get a camper van and do the van dweller van life thing. So you can get a van that is quite stealthy looking, that doesn't look like a camper van from the outside, but is fully contained inside. You might have to find somewhere to shower, but that's doable as well. You can also move to an area that is cheaper to live. So instead of living right in the center of city, you can move further out, or you can move to a regional area where houses are a lot cheaper to rent, or you can buy a house in a regional area that is definitely a lot cheaper than the city. And the last one I'll mention here is geo-arbitrage, which basically means earning AUDs and spending THBs, or earning Australian dollars and living in a lower cost country such as Thailand and spending Thai bahts. So this can work in a number of different countries, if you work remotely, if you're a digital nomad, or if you have investments in Australia. You can use that money to go a lot further in somewhere like Southeast Asia or South America. All right, so that's all of the big 3 covered. Let's have a look at, if you're doing a few of the examples that I've gone over for each category, let's add it all up and see what it can look like. So if you're making your lunch every day, we said you're going to save about $120,000 over 20 years. If you cut takeaway down to 1 night a week from 3 nights a week, your Friday night treat, so to speak. So you can save about $96,000 over 20 years if you're swapping your car out for public transport, or you're swapping out your public transport or a smaller car trip for a bicycle. You might save around $40 a week, or again $96,000 over 20 years. And if you're going to reduce your housing by any number of methods, say by $150 a week, which is very doable, if you kept that up for 20 years, let's say, that's $360,000 a year. So if you manage to reduce your food, your transport, your housing, just using the examples that I've gone through here, and you manage to keep it up for 20 years, might not be easy, but it is possible, just to show you the numbers, that can all add up to $671,000 over 20 years. So if you can do that over 20 years, and that's only putting aside for about 14.5 grand a year. You know, some people are going to be able to save a lot more than that. So you're well on your way to being a millionaire. You will be a millionaire if you can do something similar to this. So guys, the purpose of this video isn't to tell you that you should be scrimping and saving on all these things. Everything is a personal choice. Everyone has their own situation. Some things will work for others. Other things will work for other people again. So basically, all I wanted to do here is show you some numbers and show you that these conveniences and luxuries in life, they're great, but they do come with a cost. So you just keep that in mind. If you are willing to go commando on this stuff and do all three for a number of time, you can definitely make good strides towards becoming a millionaire and more. So it just goes to show you the power of investing, the power of compounding, the power of sacrifice, and how it can have a huge effect on your finances over a longer period of time. As always, guys, I'd love to hear your experiences and your opinions on what I've said here, and also hear about what you might have done to reduce your expenses in your savings journey. Let's keep the conversation going. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe. If you learned anything or found this even moderately interesting, please like, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Rightio, that is it, guys. So thank you for watching, and catch you later.